What's up, people? It's Cammy today, and today I'm talking about the top 10 worst teledrama character derailments. Teledrama is a great show, but like all, has its flaws. A character derailment is when a character goes downhill over time. If you disagree with me on this list, that is 100% okay. But if you post hurtful comments, you'll be blocked. So without further ado, here are the top 10 worst teledrama character derailments. But before we begin, please remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Number 10 is Cody. The reason why Cody is so low on this list is because in World Tour. He also has redeeming qualities, like his friendship with Heather, planes, trains, and hot air mobiles. He insists on making this the best episode in the entire series. With this being said, Cody was still problematic this season compared to Island, which is still not the best in Island. I have some things to say about him in World Tour, which is one reason why it isn't the best season. These include, and Can't Help Falling in Love, he plays into the girl's demands to apologize to Sierra after he was rightfully angry with her and even said he misses her stalking. Cody gave in to apologizing for someone else's actions. How pathetic. Now onto his treatment of Duncan. When he found out he kissed Gwen, he punched him in the face. Not because he cheated on Courtney, but it was because he kissed his crush. He kissed Gwen, which is why he hates Duncan. It would have been somewhat reasonable if it were because he felt bad for Courtney, but Gwen doesn't like you. Get over it. Also, this is a major setback from Island, where he handled Gwen being with Trent very maturely. World Tour also proved Cody to be a massive hypocrite. He always complained about Sierra stalking him and taking his things, but did the same thing to Gwen. On top of this, Cody did not deserve to make the final three. He was a pure floater, and the only reason that he got there was that Sierra carried him there, both literally and figuratively. Tyler experienced development, so he should have gotten the spot in the final three instead. I'm neutral to Cody as a whole, but he was so much better in Island. Number 9 is Cameron. The main reasons this isn't higher is because A, Cameron isn't my favorite character, and B, it only lasted 2 episodes. The only moment I really liked Cameron was the finale, and even then he was a floater. Where this derailment started was in You're Gotta Be Kidding Me. He used Scott for shark bait and gets upset when Scott is rightfully mad at him and votes him out. He also escapes elimination for the second time, and still doesn't see that Mike is Mal. But I understand that using Scott as a shark bait was to complete the challenge more efficiently. Then Vegan You Shall Find came along, which is basically his Sunday Muddy Sunday. He freaks out at the beginning over the votes being rigged against him, and suddenly becomes gullible enough to follow Mal's every command and still doesn't see he's Mal. If anyone should know, it's Cameron, because he was the first one to find out about Mike's MPD and studied it all of last season. Now he's following Mal's every command, blind to see that Mike isn't himself. Mike would never get Cameron to do bad things, including to draw a wedge between Scott and Courtney. He even refuses to take help from Alejandro when he offers to help him out of a hole when he's about to fall such a long distance. Incredibly dumb thing to do. He thinks everyone is out to get him, and even turns on his friend Gwen. Then a bunch of rocks fall on him, seriously injuring him to the point he's put back in his bubble. This is just an insult if you ask me, because he spent all of last season overcoming his bubble and then is reduced back to it. It's just baffling he was this dumbed down with how smart he was. He was definitely in the game for too long. He escaped elimination twice and had already won last season. Number 8 is Lindsay. Lindsay is one of my favorite characters from the teledrama franchise. In Island, she was Heather's minion mainly, so I still loved her. Then in action, she undergoes arguably the best case of character development in the series. She goes from being Heather's minion to proving she can be a leader to an extent, wins Shawshank Redemption for her team, was the only one on her team who knew the horror movie props were fake, knew how to walk around carpet, knew which wire to cut, and even outsmarted Courtney. If you have watched my channel, you know that I 1000% believe she should have been in the finale of Action instead of Beth, and I'm the #1 advocate for that. And how much I hate her elimination, so I don't need to go into it. I still liked her a lot in World Tour. All Stars went horribly wrong, especially for Lindsay. The writer thought it was a good idea to make her so dumb she didn't know how to drive a stroller or use a marker. What I liked about Lindsay was that she was funny, likable dumb. They definitely went way too heavy on her stereotype in All Stars. It's just awful that the same girl who was the only one who knew the horror movie props were fake, knew which wire to cut, was the MVP in the prison challenge, knew how to walk a red carpet, even outsmarted Courtney, all of a sudden became so dumb she didn't know how to push her stroller or write with a marker. I took this wonderful development from Action, threw it in the trash, dropped a heavy piano on it, and lit it on fire. What a shame. The only reason this isn't higher is because this derailment only was for one episode. Number 7, Sierra. I like Sierra a lot, but World Tour Sierra only. Sierra actually had other things to her than her love of Cody that I liked. She was actually competitive, she knew a lot about the show and contestants, and had some great talents, like basket weaving and slap dancing. She was hilarious in World Tour. The finale of World Tour would surely have been her and Cody if she didn't blow up the plane. I'm glad it didn't happen though, because that finale would have sucked, and the finale we got was beyond awesome. Hands down the best finale. Then All Stars came along, and this season absolutely ruined her. All the likable qualities were stripped from her, and her only character trait was her dependence on Cody. Not only that, but she becomes so obsessed with Cody that she starts hallucinating Cameron as Cody and starts calling him Cody. This is just cringy to watch, especially since her development at the end of World Tour. She learns not to be so stalkerish, and here she's back to square one. It probably was a bad idea to bring Sierra back without Cody, so in All Stars, I would have replaced her with Anne-Maria. Number 6 is Trent. Trent was never my favorite character. I love his relationship with Gwen. They should have stayed together. He was alright in Island, but I was still kind of bland. His main purpose was to be Gwen's love interest. Then Action happened and destroyed him like dynamite. He became so obsessed with Gwen. Then they become separate team captains, which created an awful running joke. As his relationship with Gwen was over, he started purposefully throwing challenges for his team in order to please her. And don't even get me started on the number 9 thing. He becomes jealous of Duncan, even though he and Gwen were only friends, which was also sickening. And this is why he and Gwen I eliminated first in teledrama Action My Way. Number 5 is Ezekiel. Do I actually need to explain this one? Number 4 is Duncan. Duncan is also one of my favorite characters. He was amazing in Island in Action. I liked the gig as a bad boy with a good heart. He had his relationship with Courtney, rivalry with Harold, lots more I could explain. World Tour is where he started to go downhill. First, he quit in the first episode. In IC London, he was brought back to the show against his own will. Amazon won for bringing him back, how the challenge was to bring back Jack the Ripper, which Team Chris is really hot did. So they should have won. On top of that, the infamous kissing scene happened. Tyler spilled the beans, and then from there was a disaster. This also proves that he is a massive hypocrite. And since Search and Do Not Destroy, he told Shred that he messed up for cheating on Gwen. And Picnic at Hanging Dark, he proves his hypocrisy even more with his fake crying, since he got angry when LaShawn fake cried in action. What's worse is that he said he'd been doing it since he was little. He really should not have returned. Then All Stars came along, where his character is butchered super hard. There's still a love triangle drama. The real butchering happens when he switches to the heroes. He is so angry, so now he is trying so hard to prove that he is bad and that he isn't soft. And it backfires. The rainbow got old so quickly. Ugh. What made him bad boy is that he didn't care about anything, just did whatever. He always cared about his reputation, but never to the extent in All-Stars. He wasn't himself at all this season. If T.I. Duncan saw himself in All-Stars, he would have laughed. Then you gotta be kidding me. He's so sick of being seen as good, so then he blew up the Planet Day Losers and got arrested. Which is the very last we see of him, which just sickens me. Number 3 is DJ. DJ is likable, definitely. Island mainly, though. He had a friendly, chill attitude and got along with everyone. Even not nice people. Unpopular opinion, but I actually liked his alliance with Chef. Up until Sandwich Project, where he started hallucinating and Steph started interfering in challenges. That World Tour happened and drained out anything positive from him. Few times have characters infuriated me more than the EJ did in World Tour. Here he gets put under the animal curse once he accidentally breaks a mummy puppy, where every time he encounters an animal, it gets seriously injured. This made him extremely whiny, annoying, and pathetic. He was so painful to watch this season, and every time he was on my screen, I wanted to punch it and break it. He was also trying to get eliminated on purpose so he could go home to his mama and was a massive mama's boy. He escaped elimination every episode, basically, and I got so sick of it so quickly. He was definitely in the game for too long. They should either have left the animal curse on the cutting room floor or eliminated him in Super Crazy Fun Time in Japan. While I still like DJ, World Tour drags him down for me significantly. The only reason he isn't number 2 or number 1 is because the other two, or the top 2 I should say, I like more. But number 2 beats this one just barely. Number 2 is Courtney. This is why Courtney didn't make my top 10, but rather honorable mentions. She was amazing in Island. With her bossy, hold a win but nice attitude. And was a leader. Island was definitely her best season. And she had a great relationship with Duncan. She is downgraded in action with her threatening her lawyers over everything, but there are still a lot of things I liked. World Tour is a gondola to hell. She was good in the beginning with her rivalry with Heather and a friendship with Gwen, but when Duncan returned, she became a disaster. He kissed Gwen, her best friend, which resulted in the horrible love triangle, like I said earlier. Then Tyler spilled the beans. She understandably became so angry at Gwen, but why didn't she get angry at Duncan at all? She became a major crybaby and acts like a 4-year-old. She sings that awful lame song Boyfriend Kiss Her and purposefully tries to cost her team the challenges to eliminate Gwen, which she would never normally do, and she's a winner. And she even falls for Alejandro. Of all people, you'd think she would know he was playing her. The love triangle really ruined her. Then comes All-Stars, and oh boy. She still has the feud with Gwen, Duncan, and still the horrible love triangle. However, she does have some good things going for her. She and Gwen reconcile, and she gets a relationship with Scott. No, it was average. Then comes along the nuclear bomb that destroyed anything good with her, Sunday Muddy Sunday. Sunday Muddy Sunday is a really infamous episode and most of us can agree is the worst episode in the entire series. This episode, it's crazy how derailed she was, which puts this one up real high. This episode was basically throw as many darts as possible at Courtney Fest. She lost Gwen, now she's so desperate to become friends with Gwen again, which was the opposite of the running joke from the beginning of the season that bugged me to the core. Becomes abnormally mean, has a sickening chart, and has the major continuity errors that shortcuts sent, and is not herself at all. Sunday can really go beep itself, and I refuse to watch it. She should just win a season. This episode was just an insult. The finale of Total Drama All-Stars should have been Courtney versus Scott. Now, before I unveil the number one worst case of character derailment in Total Drama history, here are some dishonorable mentions. Jo. She was bossy, competitive, and funny in Revenge of the Island, but in All-Stars, she only focused on her being team's leader, then saving Private Leechball. She isn't herself at all. Shoots her teammate when she says, just flush it already. Sky. Her relationship with Dave turned into a disaster post-switching teams, and she proved to be a massive hypocrite. In a blast from the past, she says she hates unsportsmanlike conduct. But later in the season, she does it in Skyfall when she uses an alligator to fly to the top of the mountain. And don't get me started on what happened with her in the finale. The only reason she's in dishonorable mentions is because pre-derailment, I wasn't a big fan of her since she's bland as beep. Lashana. She was amazing in Island. I love her. She is still great in action, and I actually like the whole fake crying and trash talk, as it actually helped develop her as a character with her strategy. And then World Tour is where she starts to go downhill. All she does this season is flirt with Alejandro and complain about everything, but then the icing on the cake is in Slap Slap Revolution, where she slaps Heather to the point where a tooth falls out of her mouth. The main reason I have an issue with this is not because Heather is my favorite character, but because in action, they actually made up and became friends, and that got thrown out the window with Lashana slapping Heather. Bridget. She is a chill, nice, easy-to-like character in Island, but then in action, she's reduced to constantly making out with Jeff. But Jeff isn't here because Redonkulous Race fixed him. Lori. Just a little sentence. After she ate the animals in Iceland. Number one is Gwen. Ugh, no. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. Prepare yourself for a long, vicious rant. This hurts like 1,000 knives. Oh, all three members of the infamous love triangle were in the top 4. So Gwen was absolutely legendary in Island. I don't think I need to go into that. Then action came along, and how she was handled this season was disappointing to say the least. After Chat was eliminated, she was manipulated by Justin into thinking she owed the Grits for Trent's mistakes when really she owed them absolutely nothing. She makes her team lose on purpose. Then World Tour, it gets even worse. Mainly with the love triangle, she steals Courtney's boyfriend, kisses him, which one of the main reasons this one was awful for her to kiss Duncan is because Gwen knew how it felt to be cheated on an island. So she went put Courtney through what she went through being true friends. Had the writers here watched that episode, by the way, Gwen should have been the last person stealing someone's boyfriend. On top of this, she doesn't show any remorse. She just thinks about how good the kiss felt and prioritizes saving herself. She's worried she'll find out, and when she does, she only cares about not getting eliminated. She could have at least tried to apologize, though Courtney would definitely have not been the easiest to apologize to. Then All Stars came around. Right this season, everything good had completely vaporized. Now we have a whiny, complaining, annoying little beep. She was not herself at all this season. Island Gwen would have laughed seeing the All Stars version of herself. In fact, she was the complete opposite of how she was in Island. When she was placed on the villains, she whined, "Why? I'm nice," and then tried so hard to be Courtney's friend. It was so annoying and God made me sick to my stomach. In Island, she was this bad goth girl who didn't care about anything, and her breakup with Duncan was just boring. It was just her shoving him aside and yelling, "It's over." Not to mention, she denied stealing Duncan from Courtney when she admitted it in World Tour, and denies doing anything wrong in the love triangle. She complains about literally everything here, and it's sickening. Her friendship with Courtney once they reconciled was like Katie and Sadie. Breaking a toothpick was more exciting than watching her friendship with Zoe. This friendship is so boring and has zero flavor whatsoever. It was just disappointing. Compare it to her friendship with Lashana, and it's like her Lashana friendship crushes her Zoe friendship like a brick to a pea. Sunday Mighty Sunday is just more infuriating what they did to her. And why did she make the pre-finale episode when it was obvious she was getting eliminated as she had one island? Which her elimination was unfair, so I felt bad for her. So, there you have it. The top 10 worst teledrama character derailments. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this vid and subscribe to my channel.